We're here today to dedicate a historical marker recognizing the Hillcrest Children's Home, its past superintendents, employees, the citizens of Scioto County, and most importantly, in honor of the thousands of disadvantaged boys and girls whose lives were forever changed. Hillcrest was not an orphanage, rather a home for neglected and dependent children. While it was built in 1920, it was not until June 15, 1921, when the first 57 children would begin to call this their home. It has now been 47 years since the last child left on February the 25th, 1970. In the absence of a traditional family, the children of Hillcrest became each other's family, creating bonds that lasted a lifetime. The marker is sponsored under the auspices of our local Scioto County Historical Society, 17 members of the Hillcrest Children's Home Group, the Scioto County Commissioners, Mike Crabtree, Brian Davis, Chairman, sorry Brian, Kathy Coleman, and the late Doug Coleman. The primary purpose of this marker is to promote and educate the public about the profound effects the children of Hillcrest had on the whole of Scioto County and the good people of Scioto County who reached into their hearts and continually gave of themselves to come to the aid of these children. At this time, I would like to say thank you to many that have been involved in helping make this day possible. Andy Verhoff from the Ohio History Connection and Becky Trivison from the Ohio History Connection. Sua Studios for manufacturing the marker. Scioto County Commissioners Chairman Brian Davis, Mike Crabtree, Doug Coleman, and Kathy Coleman. The Scioto County Historical Society with Sue Burke and Dottie, I can't remember Dottie's last name. Is Sue here? Justice? Okay, thanks. Porter Township Trustees. I've had to really work closely with them. They've been wonderful, as well as everyone else, in the housing, installation, and placement of the marker. The Hillcrest Children's Home Marker Group would be Robert Cunningham, Robert Dawson, Judy Bowen, Kenny Kazee, also Phil Reed, who contributed to this marker in loving memory of his mother Gladys Reed, who was a cook there, Penny Thompson, that's my sister, Sally Cook, Betty Griffith, Emery Skaggs, Charlotte Walls, June Spradlin, Rosemary Stovall, Beverly Mullins Stroop, who contributed in honor of her mother, Mary Barnett. Beverly, where are you at? Hi. Hester Cullett, Don Rigsby, Smitty Hughes, and myself. I'd also like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Jared Shaw for giving permission and use of their land to place our marker. And as well as Sarah and Jeremy Coltonback, who were the original owners prior to them. I'd like to thank the Christian Baptist Church's Tabernacle for use of their parking facility. David Stone of TSHD Architects for helping me out with the photograph. Kyle Signs for our signs that you see displayed here. Southern Harmony and Hitmaker Studio, Dan Ward and Jared Ward for use of the PA system. donation of the Podium from Randy Rucker. 3rd Ward City Councilman Kevin E. Johnson for his letter of support for the marker. The Scioto County Engineers. Also shuttle service drivers provided by Faith Baptist Church. The current residents of Hillcrest Road and Hillcrest Court have been 100% unanimous in their support up here, and also have supplied us with parking and electric. Also like to thank the Scioto Voice and the Portsmouth Times for your coverage here today, as well as all the coverage to help raise the awareness over the past few years. We greatly appreciate it. And well, I guess last but not least, I need to say thank you to my husband. He's put up with me these past few years, and I know he's happy to see it over. Love you, babe. You want to take a bow? I hope you all will forgive any possible omissions. I've tried really hard to keep a running list, but I'd like you all to know that we are very, truly appreciative of everyone's support here. Thank you so much. At this time, I would like to introduce Andy Verhoff from Ohio History Connection. Andy, where you at? Let's give him a hand.
Yeah, it's good to give me a hand before I start to talk, so thank you very much. Rose was a real pleasure to work with on this marker. We're going to see the marker shortly, but I don't want to say it's not an easy process, but it's a piece of historical research. We take very seriously that the statements and the facts presented on markers are historically accurate. And Rose did a fantastic job. I just want to call you out, Rose. You did a fantastic job at supplying us with the information we needed. And frankly, on our end, it made the job a lot easier. So thank you. And we're really happy to be here. I came down from Columbus this morning, and I was so glad when Becky said, "Can you do the dedication for Hillcrest?" I wanted to come down and meet you. And I haven't been down to Portsmouth in a while, so it's good to be down here. Had a beautiful drive. And we just like to come to every marker dedication we can to offer congratulations on behalf of the Ohio History Connection, and to say especially congratulations to the Scioto County Historical Society, the Hillcrest Children's Home Group, and the Scioto County Commissioners. And again to Rose for putting the great marker together. And the markers program is a real collaboration between the applicant, between the local sponsors of the marker, and the Ohio History Connection to make sure all the words fit, make sure they're factual, get everything we need to get on the marker, and then get it to production in Scioto Studios. And we're very proud that every Ohio historical marker since 1957, the program started in 1957, it's its 60th birthday, I forgot the cake, sorry, has been made over in Marietta at Scioto Studios. And there are now, from that one marker in 1957 to this marker, there are now 1,605 markers up or in production around the state of Ohio. So I just want to conclude my remarks by reading the text of accommodation we prepared at the Ohio History Connection. And we have one for the Scioto County Historical Society, if one of their representatives is present. We have one for the county commissioners, and we have one for the Homes Friends Group. So Rose, you're our point person on that. And the accommodation reads, the Ohio History Connection commends the Scioto County Historical Society, the Hillcrest Children's Home Group, and the Scioto County Commissioners for furthering knowledge of our state's heritage by placing an Ohio historical mark on April 21st, 2017 that commemorates, honors, and celebrates the legacy of the Hillcrest Children's Home and the impact on the lives of Scioto County children that it had. And it's signed by Bert Logan, our executive director, and Bob Lucas, our president. So again, thank you for inviting us down here today. It's been a real pleasure, and congratulations on the mark.
Thank you, Andy. At this time, I would like to ask Chairman Brian Davis the commissioners to step forward. Oh, there you go. Let's welcome Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Rose. Welcome, everyone. Just a beautiful day. The sun came out, and I don't think God could have crowned this any better than what He has. It started out blurry or just dreary this morning, and now the sun's out, and it's a beautiful day. I want Mike and Kathy to come out and be with me here. Mike's trying not to do that, but he's going to. He wanted to be the picture taker today, but I want to welcome everybody. And on behalf of the Scioto County Commissioners, Mike Crabtree, Kathy Coleman, and me, I would like to welcome all those in attendance today and thank those who made today possible. Rose, thank you.
Thank you.
For your persistent work to bringing this much needed project to light in our community. And I think she deserves another round of applause. Your hard work will always be appreciated. The Ohio History Connection and their staff for helping Rose make this happen today. The Porter Township trustees and their staff and employees, and the Scioto County Sheriff Department, which I hope is patrolling the road down there for a little bit later. They should be down there, so we'll see here in a few minutes. But you, Rose, had mentioned a whole lot of other people that I didn't even know about. And we want to thank them as well, and all of the hard work and determination. You know, it takes a lot of people to make something like this happen. And when our community comes together and under one voice, one mind, we can do amazing things. So thank you again. What a great day for Scioto County. Today, through the dedication of this historical marker, we honor the many years that Hillcrest Children's Home served Scioto County, and more specifically, enriched the lives of many children during its years of operations. Today we celebrate and honor the lives of those children who were given shelter and help during difficult years in their lives and indeed in our area. And today we honor those who worked and sacrificed at Hillcrest and eased the suffering of countless children and made their lives a little brighter. We will always be grateful for the successful lives of those who are residents and some of those that are here today, and those who served during the years that Hillcrest was open. So in honor of this day, the Scioto County Commissioners have a proclamation to present to Rose today. And the wind's blowing. Let me read this for you today. And this was all Rose's idea, and I think it was fitting. When resolutions are presented to us whenever proclamation ideas are presented to us, we chew those over, we think about it, but I can honestly tell you, we didn't have to think very long about this one. This one was real clear at the beginning, and again, the work that was done in advance to make this happen today was done expediently. As the Ohio History Connection mentioned, the efficiency and the work that went into this was top rate and made it possible today. So, in the matter of resolution proclaiming June 15th, 2017 as Scioto County's Day of Prayer and Recognition for Neglected and Dependent Children, it was moved by Mr. Crabtree and seconded by Ms. Coleman that the following resolution be adopted. Whereas Scioto County honors the former children of Hillcrest Children's Home for Neglected and Dependent Children, and whereas the media has done much promotion on Hillcrest from 2014 to 2017 to raise awareness and the coming together of the many citizens, businesses, and officials alike who made it their mission to come to the aid of our county's neglected and dependent children. And whereas the need for awareness and prayer for our children is evident, as published in the April 7, 2017 edition of the Portsmouth Daily Times, Part 3 of 3, Hillcrest series, quoting in excess of over 200 currently of Scioto County's children currently under protective services. And whereas child neglect and dependency is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community. And whereas our children are our most valuable resource, can I get a hearty amen there? And will shape the future. And I will say this, they're shaping the current situation in Scioto County as well. And whereas child neglect can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that can have lifelong consequences for its victims. And once again, whereas we must once again come together as a community, to increase awareness about child neglect and dependent children, as well as the possibility of reducing or eliminating the risk, and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of our children and families in a safe, nurturing environment. Now therefore be it resolved that Scioto County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim June 15, 2017 as Scioto County's Child Neglect and Dependent Children Day of Prayer, and urge all citizens to recognize this day by dedicating themselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families on this 21st day of April in the year of our Lord 2017. As such action, each member voted aye, aye, and aye. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't supposed to cry. Give me just a second here. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Thank you again to our Scioto County Commissioners. Thank you so much. The children of Hillcrest, they've waited so many years just to feel validated, and it will mean more than you will ever know unless you experience the life you could never understand. The proclamation was important to me not only in honor of the children's home, but also in light of today's current situation. And I personally love my Lord, and I don't feel that it ever hurts to pray. Our children today need just as much help. So I ask everybody here to be sure and honor June the 15th for the day of recognition and prayer for the children of our county. At this time, I would like to introduce Bob Dawson. Bob is a former resident as the son of the former Hillcrest Children's Home Superintendent, Florence Dawson. Bob is one of those guys. He is a friend to all, and we love him dearly. Let's welcome him up here if you would.
Thank you very much, Rose. Rose is going to make me cry in a minute here. 1920 was a big year. The 18th Amendment came into effect in January. That was Prohibition. In August, the 19th Amendment was ratified. That gave women the right to vote. I'm not sure those two are related, but at any rate, the most important thing to us in 1920 was that the construction of the Scioto County Children's Home, Hillcrest, began. Today, a marker is erected to commemorate the profound influence of that institution on thousands of children, on the communities of Wheelersburg, Porter Township, Portsmouth, and Scioto County, and to remind us of the important interactions of those entities with Hillcrest. For 50 years, until its abandonment in 1970, Hillcrest was more than a handsome brick structure. It was the first home that many children knew and remembered. For some, it was a temporary residence, while family conditions that caused displacement were confronted. For others, it was a longer-term refuge that lasted a few months or a few years. For still others, it became an extended family environment that began as a young child and endured into or through high school. Over the years, thousands of children, from infants to high school students, were housed at Hillcrest for various lengths of time. Today, not much remains, but pictures, newspaper accounts, and memories of those who were there to lend credibility to the reality of its existence. This ceremony, this placing of a marker on the spot where so many lives intersected, commemorates all that was Hillcrest. The children, the supervisors, the superintendents, the government, the Child Welfare Board, the individuals, organizations, and communities that became part of the Hillcrest fabric. A rich tapestry, a rich history that we remark and celebrate today. When I think of myself as a child, I think of a children's home kid. I lived here from 1947 to 1953. My experiences were obviously different. My mother and I lived in a separate apartment, and we had frequent visits with our close-knit family, most of who lived in Sciotoville. But there were many similarities. When the dinner bell rang, I had to wash up and get ready for dinner. I played in the orchard. I snuck off to Lick Run to swim sometimes, spent a lot of time on the playground, and I was part of Troop 5 that raised and lowered the flag in front of those grand columns every day. All of us felt the love of Peg Campbell and the wonderful folks from the telephone company during the annual Christmas party they sponsored. We had our Easter egg hunt every year and looked forward to the Civic Forum's games on the 4th of July, with the trip to Portsmouth to see the fireworks. And everyone loved the late summer trek to the county fair, with the free unlimited lemonade from the fire department and rides sponsored by the Southern Ohio Auto Club. Hillcrest was an integral part of Wheelersburg from the start. The children went to Wheelersburg schools and Wheelersburg Methodist Church and participated in the activities of both. Local merchants provided goods and services. At the beginning, there was a small school for grades 1 to 5 at Hillcrest, but that was abandoned in 1940. It was 0.9 miles to the high school in Wheelersburg, not quite far enough for a school bus ride, so the children walked to school every day, walked back to Hillcrest for a quick lunch, went back to school, 4 trips each day. In many ways, it was an idyllic life. It was wonderful for me. Fresh air, beautiful surroundings. It wasn't the same for kids who were here without their parents, some without siblings. I'm sure that some kids were traumatized because they were put into a new and strange environment without their parents and sometimes without their siblings, although there were a lot of brothers and sisters at Hillcrest. Life was not always golden. There were occasional runaways. I think I remember someone ending up in a coal car in Columbus on the B&O Railroad. No names, but at any rate, there were occasional tragedies, or occasional deaths. Kids were saddened when parents would come to visit and then leave, or not come at all. There were some not so savory events that resulted in the prosecution of some of the adult supervisors. But there was a community of support within Hillcrest that helped get through the rough spots. Hillcrest was never a substitute for a normal family environment, but for many it provided stability that had been absent in the family circumstances from which they had been removed. At Hillcrest, children became part of a large community of brothers and sisters that created lifelong friendships. In the absence of parental involvement, children developed a dependence on each other that exceeded what would occur in a normal family. Children from an early age learned to be adaptable, self-reliant, and dependable. My mother, Florence Dawson, later Florence Dawson Roush, became superintendent of the home in 1947. In 1950, she hired June Throckmorton right out of business school in Portsmouth to work in the front office. Throcky, as my mother and most of us called her, became a friend, supporter, and mentor for many, many Hillcrest kids. And we're sorry she's not here today. The children, both boys and girls, performed the tasks that helped Hillcrest operate smoothly on a daily basis. This included cleaning, cooking, dining room activities, and maintenance of the grounds. My mother organized a bunch of kids into a troupe that performed for various service clubs at the fireworks display on the 4th, at the county home, and elsewhere. This troupe of entertainers raised the public's awareness of Hillcrest and promoted goodwill in the community. My mother believed that the community should know what Hillcrest was like, and so she organized an open house and invited the entire county, and several hundred people dropped by. She involved the kids in a project that won a contest sponsored by the U.S. Navy's aircraft carrier Leyte. Hillcrest, as a result of that, received a grant for an entirely new modern kitchen. The kids said a heartfelt thank you to the men of the lady. They didn't have women on warships then, and then got a thank you for the thank you back from the crew of the lady. Hillcrest is the perfect example of the government's doing for the people, what the people individually and as a community could not do for and by themselves. The government's initiative, providing the structure, triggered the involvement of many groups and individuals who contributed to the health and welfare of Hillcrest, from the telephone company to Orthmeyer's Bakery, from the Sheriff's Department to the Civic Forum, the service clubs of Scioto County and Portsmouth, especially the Portsmouth Exchange Club, and not the least, the Wheelersburg schools and school system and local churches. Bob Cunningham contributed much to this talk. And one of his comments had to do with the fact that Hillcrest exists mostly in the memories of those who experienced it in one way or another. To jury rig a famous quote, "To ignore history is to lose it." What we do today assures that the rich history of Hillcrest will not be lost. The installation of this striking marker will ensure that Hillcrest will have a place in the community's heart and memory forever. It is with a sense of awe and humility that I participate in this ceremony today. While neither Hillcrest nor the marker that we are dedicating today stems from anything that I did, I was part of both. I am confident that I speak for everyone who is part of the Hillcrest family when I say that we are all gratified that the state of Ohio, Porter Township, Scioto County, the state and Scioto County historical societies, and many individuals have seen fit to commemorate what was an important and valuable part of our lives. It's fitting that we have with us here today several generations of Hillcrest kids who have stayed with us long enough to see this memorable event, this permanent symbol of an era and an institution that will now live forever on Hillcrest Road. Frank Sinatra sings a song about a very persistent little goat that butts very relentlessly against a massive concrete structure. The catch line after he describes this is, "Oops, there goes a 1,000 kilowatt dam." That goat could be named Rose Mowry. Her determination, dedication, and love of Hillcrest is why we're here today. I think the Lord, when he looks over his shoulder tomorrow, will be a little surprised, because Rose has moved heaven and earth to get us here today. Rose, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for allowing me to participate. It is indeed an honor.
Thank you, Bob. At this time, before we go down to do our unveiling, I would like anyone that is here who either resided at or had family that resided at the children's home to please come up. Penny, get over here. That's my baby sis.
Right. The other way around?
Hey, I tried to give you some credit. Okay, if everyone would gather here, please. Don, Hester, Mary. Come on, guys. Gather over here, please. Who is it?
Phil.
I need everybody beside and around me, please. Can you guys see everyone in the cameras?
there.
Everybody face forward. Say cheese. Love my Hillcrest family.